It's time for another round of Distressing or Defect. So I think it would be best if we actually hit the showroom here and pointed out some of these features that are actually not defects to our customers so that they know. Would you like to do that?
Absolutely, it'd be a
So
pleasure.
Gene, talk to me about what's going on here, because it looks pretty sloppy.
It's exactly what we talked about, just a very loose-fitting fabric, and it's not going to be a tight look. It's going to be a dimpled, little bit of a wrinkled look. It's just the way it looks.
So that is not a defect?
Not a defect.
Gotcha. And you had mentioned something about just, well, all you have to do is fluff it up and...
That's all you have to do.
Good to go.
It doesn't take much.
So, Gene, you had mentioned that there's an alternative for people who don't like that sloppy look.
We call it a tight back. Those wrinkles just disappear.
Perfect. One of the things I did want to talk about is motion furniture. Obviously, motion furniture, well, it just does that. It moves. And what do you said you got calls on something.
Get it all the time. So as you can see here in this picture, these backs are not lining up completely. And the reason is, this is a reclining piece of furniture, and these backs swing freely. It's right next to a stationary piece of furniture that sits upright and straight. They're never going to absolutely conform to each other. They're always going to be a little bit off. It's the nature of reclining furniture.
I also noticed it on the seats too, because the recliner never goes back to where the seams line up exactly. They just don't.
Absolutely.
You know, but again, like you said, fluffing. You could probably grab one of the seats, and if they wanted to make it totally straight, it's motion furniture. You could move it.
No question about it. But just keep in mind, and this is only seems to become an issue when these reclining furniture sits in the middle of the room.
Gotcha.
These are sitting on the wall. Nobody ever sees it.
Perfect.
But it's just intrinsic in motion furniture.
So, Gene, tell me what we got going on here.
Well, we have a set of furniture that has welts on them. It's a casual, very comfy kind of a look that we talked about already. And as you can see, these welts are not absolutely straight.
They are definitely not straight.
And it's part of the product. It's the way.
So
it
that
looks.
is normal. You're telling me.
Absolutely
Okay.
normal.
Gotcha. So, Gene, talk to me about what's going on here. It appears that these cushions have big gaps in them, and they're like kind of puffed up.
Yes, we call this crowning of the cushions, and it just takes a little bit of time. As you use your furniture, those gaps are going to fill in. The cushions are going to release a little bit, and it's going to look much neater than it looks right now. It's just the nature of new furniture.
Now, someone told me that actually higher-end furniture, this happens to be Bassett, but higher-end furniture, they'll make it crown more for longevity purposes.
Absolutely. The higher they crown it, the longer the cushions last.
Perfect. Now, Gene, this happens to be one of our most popular sets, and I have to laugh because I feel like this covers the whole gamut of that lived-in look.
Absolutely. Even here, look at the cushion. There's plenty of fabric here to grab. It's just, again, it's that casual.
That's where you get that butt print that we talk about,
exactly.
right?
Exactly. We hear about that all the time. It is natural. It is normal. It is. If you don't like that look, then, as we've said before, go with something a little bit.
Right. You got the wrinkles in the back, and someone also told me that if you have looser cushions, the slop, because they can move, and
no question about it.
But the good news is, I think with looser cushions, you could probably fluff them up easier.
I was just going to say, you can still get your hands in there and fluff them up a
Okay.
little bit, but you've got to like this kind of a look. If you don't like this kind of a look,
This is like, it's almost like it's been in the home for 5 years already.
it's supposed to look like it's lived in before you get it.
Perfect.